Hey everybody, it's like 11:27, Saturday night. Donna's still in the hospital. Um, she seems to be in good spirits. It's really still bad in her head and runny nose, and it's in her lungs. So the doctors told me they want to keep her there a few more days, keep her on IV meds for fluids and for the COVID medicine, and she needs oxygen. So she's hanging in there. The doctors also told me I'm her power of attorney apparently, and make the medical decisions and stuff. But they talk to me; they don't talk to her. So I have to call her and fill her in on what they're telling me. And so she didn't realize they want to send her to rehab after this. So she won't be coming home necessarily right away because she's having trouble walking from being bedridden for so long from the sickness. Me, I'm it's still a little bit in my lungs, but I think I'm getting a lot better. I just finally got to go to church, but when I was running late, and my priest is still sick with COVID until Monday. He'll be back Monday, hopefully. And there was another priest there that I don't get along with, and he doesn't really, I don't like the way he does confessions and stuff, so I was desperate because it's been a couple weeks since I was able to get out of quarantine and go to church and get confession. And so then I was trying to get to church on time before church for confession, but as it turned out, it worked out in God's way. I needed to talk to the doctors for a while, so I was late for Mass, and then I got there after Mass thinking, oh, maybe I can get confession after Mass. Well, the deacon was in a rush to close the church. The priest had lit on out of there. Father Turner's not back yet, and so I ended up going to St. Mary's in Brantford, and it was a few minutes late, but I got to go to Mass, and then I got to have confession, a nice long one with an older priest, and so it was a blessing, and felt so good to be reconnected with God after so long. And this priest was very gentle with me, older guy. I think he learned a lot from me in the confessional. It didn't go the way I thought it would. I thought this guy was going to yell at me or something, or just be really harsh or whatever, but it turns out, I guess I kind of relifted his faith, and I could feel Jesus in there talking to me. It was the things he said, it was like, it's like he knew what I wanted to say. I was crying in there, and I don't like being away from Mass for that long, and a confession and all that, and he just kind of knew what I needed to say and what I needed to confess. It was weird. It was awesome. And then afterwards, he's an older guy from Milford. I didn't get his name. And afterwards, he was we were leaving, and I was walking to his car, and he was saying that he's sick with cancer or whatever, and he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I didn't mean to rush through the absolution part. I'm not feeling well, and I'm battling cancer. And so I said, can I pray for you? And he's like, all right, yeah. He's like, let's make it quick because I gotta be somewhere in Old Saybrook, but yeah. He's like, please. And so, I prayed over him, and I just asked God to heal him, with all my heart. I said, Lord, whatever, it doesn't matter what I said, but he was very moved by it, and he said, he's like, wow, he's like, that made my night. He's like, thank you so much. He's like, that means a lot to me. He's like, I'm a priest, and I'm always praying for other people. Nobody's ever blessed me like that. He's like, thank you. He's like, nobody ever blessed me or thought to pray for me and my needs. And then I wanted to cry, but so it was a nice moment. It was awesome. It was awesome to be able to do that for him, and then I went to Taco Bell. It was freezing cold. There's no heat in Donna's car. And then I came home, and it's cold in this house too. It's 9 degrees outside, and it's so drafty in here. The heat's on, and Donna's been calling me. She's bored, stuck there. I have her stuff here, waiting to when I can bring it to her. I'm going to try to bring it to her. She likes to read and stuff, and she was stuck going in there with just a nightgown on, and so I have all her clothes here. I figured she'd be coming home soon, but I guess it's gonna be a little while longer. So I'm gonna try to get there to St. Raphael's tomorrow to bring her stuff to her, so she has some books to read and clothing to put on and whatever. But I gotta go to mass in the morning. I gotta have Holy Communion. And so, but we have the storm coming too, so I just pray that that doesn't get in the way of things. So yeah, and I just, oh, gosh, I don't know. I just, have a lot of time to think about things, it's just, it's very scary knowing that, Donna's not well, and if something happens to her, I don't know what's gonna happen to me. It's not good to be dependent on other people like this. I just gotta trust God that He's got a plan that I'm not aware of. Where are we gonna go from here? How am I gonna survive? um, I don't know. I was watching the movie Dear John, which is, if I saw this, I didn't remember much of it. And it's a tearjerker. I've been through a lot of this, and I don't know, it's just sad. It reminded me of my dad and, lost loves, and, when you love somebody and then they cheat on you or they leave you for someone else or things don't work out or whatever. I just really related to this movie, but for some reason, it's probably why it's a chick flick. It just really moved me to tears on several occasions and just made me think, and I don't know, it just put me in a real sad. I miss my family, I miss my dad, I miss Jeannie, uh, I don't know what God wants me to do with my life or what's going to happen to me. And, meanwhile, the end times are still moving on. If anybody watched my video last night, I did say something was going to happen today. I told you that solar storm was coming, and that when it does hit the Earth, it causes earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, and boom, Tonga exploded and sent a tsunami all up and down the west coast and all over the islands, and so it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but look, it's just the beginning, guys, and I don't like to be a prophet of doom all the time, but I know what I'm talking about. Maybe people start believing me once in a while. But anyway, more. Don't worry. 2020 is going to be a crazy busy year from now on. The tribulation's begun, so I'm just trying to figure out where I rank in the scheme of things and how am I going to. What am I supposed to do? Like, my life is already dangling by a thread. It's freezing, bitter cold out. The economy is going crazy. The food is running scarce. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all in a lot of trouble here, like in these end times. And I think people are starting to pick up on the severity of it. I've been warning for years, and now it's here. I just don't see how I'm going to have a future. I don't have enough time to become a priest. I don't think that I'm ever going to be able to be one. It really stinks. I'm not really looking for anybody right now, but, I don't think there's even going to be time to get married and have kids and all that. I'm going to be 42 next month. 42. And I have absolutely nothing left to show for it. Trying to rebuild my life, and I keep getting knocked back down. Donna's always in the hospital. I've been sick for a month with COVID. I lost a lot of work. I lost a good job. I'm starting work again tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but Monday. But I just hope I don't get my client sick with COVID. I don't know how I'm going to be able to take care of Donna and still go to work. When she's coming home. How I'm going to get her home when I have to work. I mean, it's just, I'm driving her car because mine's shot. Like, whatever. I'm just tired of complaining. It's not a good time for anybody. I hope God's got a plan. I really do. Because I'm out of options and I don't even have any solutions anymore. There's no more light at the end of the tunnel. There's no more options. I don't know. So this is where you live by faith and grace alone, like I do, and just wait on the Lord and just hope. I see how, I'm like, just see how He delivers me this time. I just need to get to Mass tomorrow, that's all. I can't wait to just be able to get to Mass and receive Holy Communion for the first time in like 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and I just hope that God, everything's good, and that I was able to confess everything, and that I'm worthy to receive, and I just need him. I need him. I need that connection back because it's been hell the past couple weeks without him, and it's no good being out of a state of grace for this long. It's scary. And then my deacon said a strange thing to me, which they're real. Something's going on. I mean, I haven't been out in the world much the past month, and he even said, I'm like, look, it's getting very hard to find a priest that's available for confession. I said, Father Turner's sick. This guy takes off soon as he's done. Like, where am I supposed to go? I haven't been able to make it to Mass. I need the sacraments. And he's like, if you think it's hard now, he's like, you wait and see how much harder it's going to be getting in the very near future. And I'm like, what's that supposed to mean, Deacon? And he looked at me and he's like, I gotta go. I gotta close the church. He's like, things are getting bad, okay? Things are getting bad. So, yeah, I've been warning you guys. Things are getting bad. I think they're starting to really feel the repercussions. Even the priests are getting nervous, the traditionalists. I bet you Father Turner is being told he can't do the Latin Mass and stuff anymore. I bet you change is coming down the pike. Maybe we're going to end up closing one of these churches soon. Something's going on. I can see the fear and the panic and the dissatisfaction in the deacon. He's a very holy traditional deacon, and he's very bothered by something as well. I think everybody's realizing that we're in trouble and that we're in the tribulation now. And, they'll never say, Steve, you were right. We're sorry for, always making you look like a crazy guy when you tried to tell us these things. We're coming down the pike. You told us about what was happening in the church. You told us all this stuff was going to happen. We don't listen. They'll never say, I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't want an apology. I just sick and tired of people thinking that I'm some kind of religious kook and then I make stuff up or I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm not a prophet that I know, but I do my research. I know things. I wish I was wrong. I want things to go back to... I wish I could go back 10 years. I had a father and a family then. The world was headed towards this, but there was still hope and time and normalcy. It's all over now. Normalcy is a thing of the past. It's a new world order. It's a new terrible season for planet Earth from now on. And there's still people out there being naysayers saying, oh, everything's going to be great. Don't worry, we'll get over this. Until what? The next round? The next chastisement? I mean, we've got asteroids that I've been seeing on the news that are almost the size of New York City heading towards the Earth. They're all dangerous. It's going to keep getting worse. God said this was going to happen. I don't know. I get tired of hearing myself. I would like to be able to report some good news once in a while, Not so-and-so's dying, the world's in trouble, there's going to be, you think I like this? I don't. I would like to be able to make a video and say, hey, even though we're in the apocalypse right now, guess what? I got a great job, and guess what? I got a better car, and, hey, I got a home of my own finally, and, hey, I found the love of my life, or whatever, or, hey, I'm going into seminary again, and, I'm going to be able to be a priest, or something good. I would like to have something good before I die, because the past 42 years have stunk. I mean, not all of it, but, when, like the priest told me today in confession, he's like, Steve, don't look back on your life and things that you have to stay out of the world. I might as well tell you what he said. It was amazing. I know it was the Lord speaking through him tonight. And it was less of a confession and more of a heart-to-heart. And I never met this priest before. He doesn't know me. And so that's how I knew it was real. He was behind the screen, and he was just saying things that, like, the Lord would say to me, like, Steve, you know how bad it's getting out there now. You know that you must be in this world but no longer part of the world. This was him saying this through the screen. I was like, can I get my confession done? He's like, in a minute, we got to talk. And I'm like, and it was like God talking to me, and he's like, you recognize the signs of the times. People like you are different. You have a bigger mission. That's why you're going through this. And I'm like, wow, this guy doesn't even know me. This has got to be the Lord. And he's like, you cannot be in the world anymore. Just be in it, but not of it. He's like, you have to detach. You have to let go. He's like, you have to look forward and just keep your eyes on the mission, on Christ. He's like, it's too important, and very few people are like you that recognize what's going on. And you're one of them that does. And so you know. and you're spending too much time in the past, too much time missing people. Your family's not coming back. Thinking about lost relationships, all these things that you did, better times that you used to have in the past when you were happy. He's like, all that's got to go. You've got to move forward. He's like, and I'm like, this guy doesn't even know me, and he knows all this. Like, it was awesome. He obviously had a gift, and so I told him, my Father, are you charismatic? Because you're reading me, and you couldn't possibly, I've never met you in my life, you don't know me, and yet you know me. And he's like, no, I never thought of it. He's like, I don't know, I don't think so. And I'm like, I think you do. I think you have gifts, and you're not. And so anyway, sometimes that'll happen where the Lord will speak through the confessional through a priest I've never met, which is why I love new priests, because they don't know anything about me, and it's not even my church, and boom, I have these amazing encounters, and I know it's real because they don't know me, and they're spewing out stuff about me or about my life, and they're nailing it. It's like he read my heart. It was like having Padre Pio in there, and he was like, he's like, you have to stop being sad, you have to stop. He just said so many things that were accurate that I didn't even realize. He's like, Stephen, who are you not forgiving? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, is there anybody that you have a grudge against, that you're not forgiving? And I'm like, well, why would you ask me that? And he's like, is there? And I'm like, well, I always tell the Lord that I forgive everybody after everything they've done to me. I do. I don't want anybody in hell, especially on account of me and for what they did to me. So, but the pain still hurts. Like, I do forgive everybody. I said, a lot of people have hurt me and put me in this very bad situation in my life now. And it wasn't me. Like, that job I started, what they did to me, it was terrible. It wasn't me. But I have to forgive them, so I guess I had to forgive them. And the confessional, I didn't really think about that. And I forgave my family again. And I just said, Lord, I know you're in there with the priest in that confessional. I said, Jesus, if there's anybody I haven't forgiven, I forgive. I forgive everything. I want to be forgiven. I forgive everybody. Please, don't hold people's sins that they've committed against me against them, please. We all have enough to be in trouble for on Judgment Day. I don't want anybody going to hell because of what they've done to me. So, as like, other than that, Lord, I'm like, what am I not? He's like, you have to be healed from stuff. There's wounds in your heart and your soul from your past that you really need to let go, Steve. And I'm like, how is this guy doing this? Like, yeah, I guess there is. That's probably why I'm crying watching Dear John for the first time. And it's kind of weird because I know Channing Tatum personally. I worked with him. And it's just so weird. But I'm just, like, this movie just kept making me cry because it's like his relationship with his dad. I miss that. And I would love to have my father back. And so having the guy die in the movie was like going through it all, that with me all over again. And just everything. The lost loves, all the lost possibilities. But I'm trying to just, I guess it's hard. I guess what the Lord is asking me is for the next phase of the mission, and I don't know what it's going to be, I have got to detach even from my past, even from would've, could've, should've, hopes and dreams and ambitions, people I've loved, people I've known. It's over. Like, they're chapters in a book. Once you read it, you turn the page. You can't stay on the page, otherwise you'll never get to the end of the book. You have to turn the page and change chapters, right? Life goes on. And so I guess I'm too sentimental and I'm stuck in the past too much and I'm not really living or moving forward. It's just when the better part of your life is behind you already, your best years, the times we used to be, when people loved you and you had fun, and I don't know. There are things about this world I guess I have to stop loving, and like, I'll miss all those trips to Florida and Disney World and all the hopes of going and moving to somewhere tropical one day, and maybe the hope of having a perfect romance one day, and I don't know, and I guess the hope of ever having my family back, just a normal life. That was another thing the priest said. He nailed it. He said, you're looking at everybody else in the world, and you're judging, and you're seeing how everybody's got what you don't. Everybody else has the family that loves them still. and friends and maybe a significant other and maybe wife and husband, kids, whatever, everything that you don't have that you want. Um, and I'm like, well, yeah, actually, I do. I do notice that everybody seems to have everything that I've always wanted. And he's like, and you're angry at them. And I'm like, yeah. And he knew. He's like, you are upset with this world and you just want the end to hurry up and come because people are ungrateful. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, I wish people would realize what they have. I wish husbands and wives would take good care of each other and stop complaining about their marriage and want divorce when they don't know what it's like to be me and be 42 years old and not have somebody. Or my girl I was going to marry is already in the grave. She's dead. You know, like when people take their parents and relatives for granted. Mine didn't want me. They threw me to the street. Like, I miss them every day, but they don't care. They moved on. As if I never mattered. That really screws you up psychologically when you grew up in a family and you spent... I was with them until like 2015. So 35 years. And then they just get rid of you and say you're dead to them. And you didn't do anything to deserve it. And did they ever really care about me? What was all that? I was just playing family, playing house for 35 years. The only people who loved me are dead. My grandmother, my dad, my real mom, everybody. My stepmother never really cared about me. Do you know how painful that is? But still, I'm a 42-year-old man next month, and I have to get over it. I have to grow up, put it behind me. No amount of therapy is going to fix anything or change anything. You know, it's easy for people to say, Steve, just grow up, be a man, move on. You know, toughen up. Yeah, okay. Well, you haven't been through what I've been through. Okay? You know, some of you guys had great father figures growing up and got to spend time with them. I didn't. Some of you got to have a mother most of your life. Mine killed herself when I was 5, and then Mommy Dearest moved in, and that was that was fun. You know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Everybody's got a different journey down here. But what God's trying to say is none of that really matters if you focus on what does matter, and that's me. You seem to forget, Stephen, you get caught up in the world, that I created you for something else. For me. So you can get to heaven. That's what you're down here for. It's not all about all that other stuff. If you have it, great. If not, oh well. You know, some people have it worse. I want every human being to come to know and love me and obey me so they can get to heaven and have their real life will begin. Like, earth is nothing compared to heaven. And heaven's eternal. And you've never even really truly scratched the surface of life until you're dead and you're in heaven. And if you don't make it, you've lived a half life and then you're going to live death for eternity in hell. When you look at it that way, you know, God wants everybody to detach very easily from everything. We get too sentimental. People, places, things, everything means something to us. Can't throw anything away. Can't move on. Don't want to move on. He also said that I was going to have to move on soon and not look back. Whatever that means. Where am I going? What's going to happen to me? Like, it's hard, even though I haven't talked to my stepmother in a year, and I haven't seen my family in over a year. I can't just stop loving people and leave them behind. Family means nobody gets left behind. But Jesus did say, if you're going to follow me, you must love me more than your mother, father, sister, brother, wife, children. No one can you love more than me, otherwise you're not worthy of me. I can't be free to go and do whatever the Lord needs me to do in life, which obviously he has taken everything away from me I thought either to curse me and punish me, or because he's setting me aside for something else, for himself. Which means family, friends, all that stuff has to go. Anything that can take my attention and energy and heart away from him, it's got to go. A lot of saints... Oh, and that's what this guy also said. He goes, I don't know for sure. He's like, but from what you've told me, Stephen, he's like, and this is the priest, telling me this tonight in the confessional. He goes, "Did it ever occur to you that maybe you're gonna be a saint one day, like a big saint one day? Because from what you've told me is going on in your life, and what is happening in your life, maybe God's not mad at you. Maybe He's got a plan, a mission, something that you need to do, and you can't have a normal life, Stephen, and have that. Saints had to say goodbye to their loved ones, and some of them went to live cloistered in convents and never got to say goodbye to their family, never got to see them again. That's the price it costs to serve the Lord. Totally. He's like, you need to realize that maybe God is making a saint out of you for these modern days, and you have to live differently. You don't belong to this world, Stephen," he told me. It was just nice and refreshing to hear a total stranger, a priest, a traditional Catholic priest, a real one. He was in his 80s, but tell me, like as if it was Jesus talking to me, reconfirming everything, and basically saying, "Stephen, you're not part of this world. Why do you try to be part of something you don't belong to? This is not your world. It's not your kingdom. You're just here for a time. You're passing through this. Don't get caught up in all that. Like, you need to detach. You can't have it both ways. You have to let go of this world and just be in it, but not of it. Not like it. You're not like the rest of these people. You're different, and it's a good thing. You're different. You belong to God. You have to remember that and stop. That's why you're so sad and disappointed, because you're looking at everybody else in their life and how much they're enjoying this world, and you can't, because you chose God and you chose a different route, and you have to stick by it. You can't have it both ways." And I'm like, I know. I just, I don't know. I need to pray hard on focusing on just detachment. Not to get too attached. The Lord's not letting me. That's why I don't have a forever home. Or I'm not settled down right now, and I don't ever get to have a career that lasts, because He's always bouncing me around. I'm always moving somewhere. I'm always all over the place. Like, He won't let me get settled. He doesn't want me to get too comfortable. He doesn't want me to, I guess, call any place home. Because this is what I'm getting, that whatever I have to do in life is not going to be the normal route everybody else in my life gets to have. I have to embrace that I'm odd and that I'm different, and I have to be. It's not even my fault, and I did not choose this. I did not do this to myself. It's God's will that and that I belong completely to Him. Even if I'm not a priest or living in a religious community, I still have to be His. And I have to work for Him, and I can't. So I have to just stop looking at. You know what it's like? It's like whenever I'm dating somebody, I no longer look. Like, I know I'm off the market. I'm very faithful. I'm faithful to God. But when I'm dating somebody, I am very faithful. I don't even think about cheating on them, and I pray that they don't cheat on me. And so I am off the market. The minute I start talking to somebody, that's it. I'm married. Like, that's how it should be. People should give people enough time without keeping options open. See where it goes first. Shut your options down. What? You can't have your options closed for a week, a month, a year? What are you going to miss? Something better might come along? No, I'm not like that. When I start dating somebody, I'm interested in somebody, that's it. I'm all theirs, and I hope they're all mine, and I'm not looking, and I don't care what comes my way. I'm taken. I'm seeing this through. I'm seeing where it goes. I'm faithful like that. And that's what I'm trying to. I think the Lord wants me to do that completely with Him. And so I need to maybe start putting a ring on my finger again and just say that, hey, you're married to the Lord. That's it. Don't even look. Don't want anything anymore in this world. Your rewards later on. You have to focus on getting to heaven. You're married to Jesus. That's it. Stop. Maybe I need to do that, because just like the seminarians do and the priests do, because it's the only way I can get my mind off is when I just absolutely know that I'm taking, you know? It's just kind of hard for a guy to think that way about God, like, married to God, like, I'm taken, like, but it is what he wants. He wants his people that are closest to him to be all about his business, all about him, and that's it, to love him more than anything and everyone. So I realize I've been failing the Lord, betraying his trust. I've not been faithful to him and his mother because I've been one foot in the world more than I realized. I'm just trying to survive, and it's like, Lord, I need things. Like, I do need a home, I need a car, I got bills to pay. I'm scared. It's 9 degrees outside. If I didn't have this place to stay at right now, if it wasn't for Donna, I'd be on the street. I mean, so I'm gotta be grateful for what I have, and it sure would be nice to have my own that nobody could take away from me, so I can, but then I'm gonna need a job so I can make enough money to support it, and that means I need my health back, so I have good health, so I can go to work, so I can make the money I need, so I can support it. You see how you're trapped in this world? It's a trap. All of us are stuck in this trap. Every day, go to work all the time, and you waste more time at work working to make somebody else rich. You have no time to see your family or the home you spend so much money on. You don't get to enjoy anything in this life anyway. It's futile unless you're rich. So why not be a Christian and just go all in? Why not do without, So I used to want the best of everything. Nice cars, nice clothes, nice everything, comfort, luxury, whatever. Now I'm just grateful to have a bed to sleep in. Wow, how much I've had to change. That's what happens when God strips you of everything, and you really start to value and appreciate the dumbest, littlest things that you took for granted. Like heat, like clean clothes, like the ability to shower. Like, you don't even care if it's yours anymore, as long as you have it, And the Lord does provide, whether it's through Donna right now and then somebody else, whatever. That's how he does things. So I gotta end this video. This acid reflux is so bad, it's like eroding my entire, and ever since I got COVID, the COVID feels like like fiberglass in your lungs. Every time you cough, it's like phlegm with cat hair in it, and it gets into everything, and it's getting into the erosion, and it's like pouring sand from the beach into my esophagus and all the way down here. Oh boy, do I suffer. Who needs this tonight, Lord? It's just Donna. I'll offer it up. The suffering I'm going through right now, you have no idea. Just sitting here making this video. I offer it up for Donna that she might get well. You don't want to waste your suffering in life. You're going to get a lot of it, especially in the future. We're all going to be suffering in the near future. So get used to it. Get a tough, thick skin and use it as currency to sanctify yourselves by offering up the suffering for those in need of conversion. Don't waste it. Alright. Is that everything that I need to talk about tonight? I think I've updated everybody. Yeah, that's it. Godspeed. Please pray for me. I don't even know what to ask God for anymore. I'm just, Jesus, I trust in you, I surrender, and I'm just waiting to see where I end up. I do feel like I'm always just waiting to die. Is it going to be a natural disaster? Am I going to be martyred? Am I going to be persecuted? Am I going to die on the street? I just feel like the rest of my life is just waiting to die. And you can't really live when you're always just dying or waiting to die. It just kind of stinks. The Lord's brought me this far. I'm sure he didn't bring me this far just to drop me like a hot rock. So I gotta trust. Who knows? Maybe somehow I will have a happy ending. Maybe there'll be a rapture and I can get out of here and I'll meet him in the sky before the end. Maybe I'll marry a princess in Sweden and I'll be a prince. So who knows? With God, all things are possible. And I think he wants us to think big and outside the box because he's an awesome major God. And it's amazing how we could be in the tribulation right now, but God could still probably give some of us a fairy tale happy ending or do something great. I just want to do something with my life. I gave it to God because I realized that fame and fortune and being a movie star and all that was a selfish means, and you're here one day, you're famous one day, and you're gone the next. Like, it's not important. But if you give your life to God and let Him do things with your life, that's important, and it's more worthwhile. So I gave God my life in my late 20s, and it's been a roller coaster ride ever since. Um, I just hope that He'll be able to do something good with my life, so that my life's not in vain. I don't want to live a mediocre life and just die and say, okay, yeah, I lived, I died, that's it, whatever. I live for myself. No, I want to do something important with my life. You know? Like, one of the reasons I was crying when I'm watching Dear John is because Channing Tatum's this big, good-looking, healthy alpha male. He's a year younger than me. But he was blessed with looks and good health and muscles and everything I never had. And that's why he's able to do backflips and go surfing. And I look at him and I'm like, man, I was never able to be a guy like that. I never got to play sports or go surfing or do anything because I've always had these crippling health issues. It just stinks. It stinks how weak I've been, and I never got to be a real man. I see him getting to play a military guy, right? My father was in the military. I never got to. I wanted to, but I was never going to make it through boot camp with all my health issues. Too fragile. It just stinks. I feel like I was robbed of the opportunity to really enjoy my youth and my life and make something of myself. The rest of my family all made something of themselves because they don't live for God, they live for themselves. They live for the world, right? So they all have these huge 6-figure incomes, and one of them works for the President of the United States, who I don't even like. The other one has a high position in the New Haven Police Department. Her daughter's in the FBI. My father was he was a police officer, he was a detective, he was a plumber, he was in the Marines, he was in the FBI, he was the president of the U.S. Marshals. I mean, he was Hillary Clinton's bodyguard. I mean, my father had so many huge success stories. Like, he lived, I mean, he was world renowned. Like, and then there's me. 42 years old. At 42, my father was expecting me. They got pregnant with me at 42. He had a beautiful wife, a family, a great career. At 42, I have nothing. It still hurts me to this day when my father said that I told my dad one day before he died, I said, like father, like son. We were arguing about something, and he turned and he looked at me and he goes, you are nothing like me. And that was a dagger to my heart because I look like him. I have all his health issues. That's what I meant, like genetically, like father, like son. We have the same quirks, a lot of similarities. But he was offended by that because he always wanted his son, his one and only son, to be able to outdo him and maybe be a military man like him or a cop like him or something he could be proud of. He already had 2 daughters, and then he ended up with a third. And I think he was always really disappointed in me that I wasn't able to be the manly man that he wanted me to be. And it broke his heart, and it really bothers me that I couldn't give him that, because I wanted to, and God knows I tried. I just don't think my father realized how sick I was, physically, my whole life. I don't know, whatever, that's why I don't watch TV anymore. It makes me sad to see everybody else do things with ease that it's not easy for me to do. And they just take it for granted, Like somebody who's good looking, right? And then they go and they do drugs and they ruin their body and they overdose or they kill themselves or they tattoo them and their whole body up from head to toe. And it's like, you were given health and beauty and so much potential in the superficial world. You could have had anybody you wanted, and you ruined yourself. You took it for granted. You were unhappy. What I wouldn't do if I were you, to have what you have, It's just so unfair. Life is so unfair. What would I have been able to do if I was an alpha male? If I had perfect health and perfect looks and a family who really loved me and, didn't have the life I had? I think I would have been unstoppable, honestly. I think God had to do this to humble me, because otherwise I would have gotten myself in too much trouble. Because when I was young and healthier, there was no stopping me. When I put my mind to something, I achieved it. Then my health was taken away, and that was it. People said I'd never work as an actor. Yeah, I worked with Channing Tatum and Kate Winslet, big stars. I might not have become a celebrity, but I was brushing shoulders with them. I was in the scenes with them. They said I'd never be a model. Abercrombie and Fitch offered me a deal, okay? When I was 24, way past modeling age, I was still in my prime. Don't tell me I can't do something. Oh, you'll never work in a school. I not only worked in a school with no college, I taught my own class for a year. 2 years. That was not supposed to happen, but it's who you know. But hey, I got it. I had my own class. Don't tell me what I can't do. And you know what? You know how I got things? God. I always prayed, and He helped. With God, right, with me, I can't do anything. I'm weak. It's impossible. But I know that all I got to do is get on my knees and beg my Father in heaven. And if He says yes, I'm getting it, whether you say it or not. Don't tell me what my Father in heaven can or cannot do. But I can't do it without Him. But now it seems like I'm in a different walk with Him now, where I don't get all the signal graces anymore. I don't get all the blessings. God doesn't spoil me anymore like He used to when I was younger. Now it's kind of like I'm on my own, I feel like. He's with me, but I guess He expected me to grow up. So He doesn't have to coddle me and, I don't know. Maybe He's trying to get me to toughen up also and be ready for what's coming down the pike, I hope He doesn't expect me to be a blood martyr or something, but I don't know. I want to go to heaven after this hell of an existence, so whatever it takes, I guess. I just hope I make it, because I don't want to be in hell, that's for sure. After my life has been hell enough, please. I don't want to burn for eternity. So, I'm just waiting on the Lord now to see where I end up and what He's going to do with my life if He chooses to take me off the sidelines. I feel like I've been benched in a game or put on a shelf, I might have screwed up so many times that He used someone else. He might have had big plans for my life and I messed up or took forever to get with the program. I don't know. I just hope He's not done with me, because there's nothing left, So, anyway, just thoughts. These movies make me think. That's why I don't watch TV. It just makes you sad and depressed looking at, what you can't have in life, what everybody else seems to take for granted. But anyway, whatever. Pray for Donna. She's fighting for her life in COVID unit, and here I am complaining that I didn't get the life that I wanted, right? And right now my lungs are still full of fluid too, and I'm nervous about that too, because for whatever reason, Don and I have been sick for over a month with this, and it just keeps coming back. And most people are done with it in 2 weeks, and this thing just keeps holding on. It will not leave. And I wake up and I feel fine in the morning, and then by nighttime my lungs are like pneumonia again. Runny nose, I gotta go to work in 24 hours. Like, I need to be healthy. This stinks. Oh God, I'm gonna need Jesus every step of the way, because I don't know how I'm supposed to. This week is already so booked up with stuff, and I gotta worry about Donna, and I don't know if she's coming home. I gotta pick her up. I gotta take care of her. And I still gotta work, and I don't see how I'm supposed to do all this, and I'm still not feeling well myself. So, do you see why I need God? I'm a crazy holy roller for a reason. Okay? The rest of you, you seem to survive on your own, and, maybe you'll pray, maybe you don't, maybe you go to church, maybe you don't, but everything just seems to, flow. With me, I have to pray every day for everything. Because I gave God total surrender, which means I belong to Him like a slave, like a little child, and He's my daddy, and I need daddy to feed me, and I need daddy to make sure that everything, I get where I need to go, and the Our Father prayer, and I'll end with this. give us this day our daily bread. What that means is you're trusting God to give you only what you need for the moment, for that day. Not tomorrow's in advance and yesterday's over. Give us this day our daily bread, which means, Lord, I'm depending on you for whatever my needs are to be met today so I can get through this day. Because tomorrow's not promised to me. And so that's it. And so you need God to give you your daily bread. I do. Sometimes I get a little upset because I want to be like the rest of these guys I know in my life. They used to be Marines. They got wives and kids. They got everything, and they just, they're the providers and they're the men, and they seem to provide a good living for their family and stuff. But what if they lost their health like I did? What if they were practically crippled like me? What if they had tumors in their spinal cord? They wouldn't be able to do these big, tough, blue-collar jobs that pay six-figure incomes, where they're lifting heavy lumber and, doing hard manual labor. They wouldn't be able to do it if they were in my body. Now do you see why I don't have a six-figure income? I would love to do construction work or go build houses or shovel horse crap or dig ditches. I love hard labor, but I can't do it. I can't even lift a 60-pound bag of potatoes. All right? So, yeah, it's not easy to make a living when you're all banged up like me. That's why I don't have it. And because I don't have that, I don't have the ability to support a wife and kids. And I can't have a big home of my own. It's all downhill from there. When you lose your health, you lose everything. And a lot of people with disabilities that I know, they have a loving family that takes care of them. Who says, don't worry, you can live with us and we'll take care of you and we'll make sure we leave you an inheritance so that when you're older you'll be My family said, go kill yourself, and left me on the street. They know I'm not well. They know I can't help myself and provide for myself. They know I have disabilities. I'm sick. Wow, what are we, animals, where we just throw the sick ones out of the nest? And only, everybody's for themselves. That's it. Survival of the fittest. Suddenly my stepmother's a communist Marxist. Sick. But whatever. That's the family I was born into. I would not have survived this long if I didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And that is for definite sure. That is why I have strong faith. Because I know that for a fact. People say, oh, you don't give yourself enough credit. You've survived this long. It wasn't easy. And let me tell you, and I did it without crimes. I did it without stealing or doing drugs or working under the table or, committing crimes. I did it the honest way. And that's why I still don't have anything. Because God provides. He doesn't always give me comfort and luxury. He doesn't always give me enough to be okay. He just gives me enough for what I need to get through one day at a time. But that's it. I can't complain. If that's how he wants to do it, that's how he wants to do it. Anyway, have a good night. I gotta go. This thing is like killing me and I don't even know how to stop it. Nothing I do stops it, and it's like burning a hole through my esophagus. I would just like one day without suffering. One day without feeling pain throughout my body and acid reflux and headaches and just one day would be nice. I need a vacation.